the latest chapter in the curious case of Cody Rhodes. Cody has reportedly officially signed to WWE, according to Pro Wrestling Insider. Because the current plan is for him to debut WrestleMania weekends. Early reports are also as well that he will be on Raw. So that saga is finally over. Our long national American nightmare is over.
That was good.
Thank you.
That was good, man.
The flip side of this has hilariously been watching the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega consistently liking any and all videos or comments that Cody Rhodes has ever made about being an AEW lifer, which I have very much enjoyed. So James, I'll start with you here. Obviously, there's a lot of implications of Cody signing to WWE. He's the first major AEW player to sign with them. Obviously, in the short term, we have WrestleMania weekend coming up where early reports are he might face Rollins. We're going to get into all that a bit later. But there's just a whole lot going on here. Finally, the culmination of all of this nonsense.
I want to say this is the culmination, but I'll be honest.
Well, the culmination of this chapter of all this nonsense.
No, but that's what I mean. I don't know that that's true. I guarantee there's going to be a contingent of the audience that is still going to not believe it until he physically appears. There's a part of me that feels that way. There's a part of me that's like, no, this is a swerve. Cody's going to show up in AEW as the mega heel that like we were being teased with, but the reality is Cody is going to go to WWE. Cody is going to show up at WrestleMania. He's going to have a match with Seth Rollins. I will be at WrestleMania, and I'm going to cheer Cody Rhodes showing up at WrestleMania. I'm going to most likely be at Monday Night Raw the night after WrestleMania, and I will most likely boo the shit out of Cody Rhodes on Monday Night Raw. And I'm happy for Cody. If this is what Cody wants, I am happy for Cody Rhodes, the person. But as a wrestling fan, I am very disappointed. I've said it before on the pod. You know, we've been talking about this for what feels like years now. I'm invested in AEW. I still have a fondness for WWE. I still love WWE for what it is, but I'm invested in AEW, and it feels like a betrayal of everything that was being built, that everything Cody helped build. So that sucks. And I think the EVPs feel that way too. I think Kenny Omega might feel that way. I can't speak for them. Maybe this is all good natured stuff, but Kenny might feel that way. And the Bucks might feel that way because they're liking shit that is just ironic as hell. Cody Rhodes, yeah, I can't go back to WWE. Maybe the others could. Maybe Kenny and the Bucks could go to WWE. Maybe they can make that decision if they want to. But I can't make that decision. I can't go back there. Well, you're the only one doing it, man. So it's rough. It's tough. It feels wrong. I wish him success. I hope if Cody Rhodes goes to WWE, Cody Rhodes becomes the WWE champion. I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't. I don't see it happening. So if you can't become champion in one company, I guess you can't become champion in the other, right? But that's his decision to make. Nothing but the best for him and his family. I hope he's making a lot of money. Yeah, it's going to be really awkward when we see him like gluing the pieces of Triple H's throne back together on WWE television. But you know, maybe like he had the golden what is it, a sledgehammer when he did that for Triple H. I don't even know if it was golden.
Well, no, he had the sledgehammer, but he did have the golden shovel a couple of weeks ago before he left. So
yeah, so maybe he'll have the golden super glue now. We'll find out.
Yeah, to your point about him not winning the title, their title picture, at least the main title picture, is such a mess between Brock having one title, Roman having the other. They're facing off for them with each other at WrestleMania. There's word that they might unify them, which we all hate the idea of, and then maybe introduce another one because, one show's on one network, one show's in the other. They both want a major world title. their title picture is such a mess. I don't know if he gets there just because like I don't know what they're doing. It's so hard to predict what WWE is going to do in the future outside of LOL Roman wins. So that's that part of it. The other part of it is, as you said, like as a fan, this does feel like a betrayal because Cody said all of those things over and over again about not being able to go back to WWE and not liking the way they did things and wanting to make a better company so that, you know, he could do things the right way, the way like they don't do things, like make a company for wrestlers where they, you know, have their own ideas and bring them to the table and they work together with everybody and put on a good professional wrestling product and not just the sports entertainment that WWE is. And now it's just it. I don't know if it rings hollow. I mean, it does ring hollow in retrospect, Chad. But like, I don't want to call Cody a liar, but it just certainly feels like that. Like everything he just said, he just threw out the window, and now it's just business as usual for him in WWE. As you know, the AEW product lives on without him.
Cody Benedict Runnels. Man, this as a new AEW fan, I'm flabbergasted. I can't fathom, and my mind still is having trouble comprehending how the guy who did it, the one we looked up to, who built this foundation and helped AEW become this huge company that now everyone is backing, and he was like one of the freedom fighters to me. And now it's just you're going back to the place that shit on you for a check. I mean, it has to be for a check because, as you guys said, come on, main title picture. Cody doesn't beat Roman. Cody doesn't beat Brock. I mean, does Cody even beat Shinsuke Nakamura at this point? Like, where are you? You were a great mid-carder when you were here, and I always thought that he should get the main title off of Randy at one point in time. But I mean, now it, like you said, the title picture is so muddy that it's almost nowhere for him to go. It's nothing for him to do. If you want to be the Intercontinental Champion for like the third time and reign for a year, then that's fine because they're not doing shit with it with Ricochet. But I mean, it just, man, the only way I'll accept this, and I still won't truly accept it, but the only way I'll accept this is if he comes back as Stardust, because I love the character and I felt like it didn't get his just due. I mean, Cody didn't get his just due either, but man, that's why you left. I'm just, I don't know. I'm confused. He didn't get fired. He asked to be let go, and then he makes a company and comes back. I can't. I don't know, Rev. I don't know.
Yeah, it's confusing. Like there's so many like questions like running through my head right now because of this. Like one of them is I'm curious how much of the AEW crowd's refusal to accept him as a face led to this decision. I'm wondering whether or not he, you know, after his initial push, he ends up like almost getting punished and buried because he started this rival company, which a WWE has legally acknowledged as a rival company in a hilarious turn of events in the MLW suit, which is a whole nother story. But like, he started this other company, he talked all this shit, and now he comes, I don't want to say crawling back, but it almost feels that way, where like he reached very high highs. And
Right.
then now he like has tumbled a bit because of, you know, recent events in his career and just, you know, just the way he's been booked and everything. Like he's tumbled back down a bit. And I'm just wondering, like, is he gonna get punished over there? Like, is that possible?
They're absolutely going to
I mean,
get
it's
them
possible.
around.
I don't think so. If Chad, I'm sorry if I'm stepping on you here.
No, you're fine.
I don't think so, because if I'm WWE, I want to make it look really appealing for you to jump ship from AEW.
You know what?
I want it to feel like I want it to feel like all those nice things that AEW is promising you as a talent, we could do that for you too. We can make you a champion. We could highlight you, and we could do it on what is it's the truth, a bigger stage. WWE has a bigger stage than AEW. So for a year, I wouldn't book Cody poorly.
Yeah.
For a year, I wouldn't book Cody poorly. And now, granted, again, we're all under the assumption that there is a ceiling because that title is going to stay on Roman. But who knows? Maybe we're lucky. Maybe we all avoid the unification that we're dreading and they keep it as 2 belts. I could maybe buy Cody taking one of those belts off of Roman. Maybe one of them. If it's a unified belt, if there's only one belt at the end of this, no, I don't see it. But if there's 2 belts, maybe Cody does become Universal Champion. Maybe or WWE Champion.
Whichever one's on Raw.
So I don't really, I'm not worried about bad booking. I'm just worried about what's the point. Like, Chad, you brought up something it's ringing so true to me about him feeling like a freedom fighter. I won't lie. I was inspired by Cody Rhodes. I was inspired by the decisions Cody Rhodes made. When he left WWE, I think that was 2016?
Yep.
Give or take. That was 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I was in my, 6 years ago, I was in my early 20s. And as a young guy who had dreams of my own for what I want my life to be, Cody showed that I don't need to follow the rules. I don't need to follow the system to achieve the dreams that I have. And then to see Cody go back to that, I don't want to, like, I'm not going to agree with the whole he's crawling back thing. I don't think so. But he's going back to something that he said wasn't for him. And that's not to say we can't change, but it doesn't feel like he wanted to go back to WWE as so much as he wasn't getting what he wanted from AEW. So now he's going to go somewhere else. I don't know. It's very discouraging for someone who was so inspired by the route he took. And I hope to not feel that way, because I don't want to root against people making the best decisions for themselves. But ouch.